You just did the Red State tour?
I loved it.
Fucking gorgeous out there.
It is.
But
I don't tell people that.
Why?
I always say that when I go
You always
there.
have the rosiest fucking outlook. Every tour you do is great. Every audience was fantastic.
Because you know what? Because this is what I decide. I spent the first half of my life being an angry cunt, sleeping on a futon. And somewhere around, approaching 40, I was just like, so this is the guy I'm going to be? And I also, you know what I did was I kind of learned how to get out of my...
You keep making that face, it's going to stick like that.
Yeah, my depressing downward spiral. I figured out how to stop it. Like, fortunately, I don't have clinical depression, but I am geared towards negative, cynical thought. So what I would just do is I just started thinking, okay, is that what you want to think today? This is what we're going to do this one fucking day. Then all that new agey shit. And I just started going to the gym. I just started, when I went on the road, I would do shit.
Don't you ever have a fucking horrible show? Like one time I want to hear you come on Monday Morning Podcast. It's Bill Burr. I just played Toronto. What a bunch of fucking assholes.
No, here's the deal. But at this point, people are coming to see me.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm going to get mad at them.
Too,
so
I still have douchebag
but
audiences.
if that point, if I have a bad show, it's kind of on me. It's like I come out and they clap like I already killed for an hour.
Yeah, no.
So it's completely up to me to like this weekend. I was in San Diego, and I was trying to put together what I'm going to do, and I was a little off on a couple of shows. And when I got off stage, I was mad at myself. I wasn't mad at anybody in the crowd. And, it was a couple of drunk people, and some people yelled out. But, I never get mad at that because I think that that's what makes this art unique, that you can sit there and yell out at the person, and you just have to fucking deal with it. And I don't like that shit if somebody yells something out and immediately they're going to go throw them out like I'm this precious fucking Hope Diamond or some shit. It's like, no. I'm saying a bunch of shit up here that should make you go like, dude, you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. So, I mean, the only heckler I don't like is basically if you're going to
talk and ignore.
If you're just yelling to yell and you're not going to shut up no matter what, then at that point I can still deal with that. But I end up feeling bad for the people who came out.
I did a show in Daytona Beach a couple months ago, or I don't know when, but I had to throw a guy out from the beginning, like before the show. I'm watching. There's no way this guy is going to make it. He's too drunk, and he's out in the lobby, and he recognizes me, but you can see he's trying to focus and say words, and I hide, and then he's in the front row, and I'm like,
of course he is.
I threw this guy out like it was an old bit. Like it was so rote. Like I went through the motions. I know at some point he's going to try to talk. It's not going to happen. So it was like I did a tired closing bit with the whole, okay, you're not going to make it unless John Goodman comes in at the end of the movie Flight and gives you blow.
So you went out on stage and threw him out.
I know what's going to happen. So I just watched the whole thing. It was fluid. I caressed him out of the room like it was a part of my act. I had thrown people out so many times for being that drunk that I'm like, this should be on my set list. Okay, open with the thing about driving down here, throw drunk guy out, segue into retardation.
That's amazing. I had a guy one time, I was at the D.C. Improv, and he was one of those guys, I'm not even going to say what he was doing. I'll tell you off air, because if I say it to you, some asshole listening to this is then going to do it. But he was doing this annoying thing where he wasn't laughing. He was doing something else. So, and I got into it with him, and whatever. We did the fight. Did he get kicked? No, he didn't get kicked out. So I'm like, all right, so that's the one Yahoo for the weekend. Because you're going to get one. It's going to be a fucking nightmare, right? So the fucking very next night, who comes walking in the door again? The same fucking guy. And the waitstaff or whoever seats him hears him say, I'm going to fucking yell out all his punchlines. And they sit him right down in the front row. So now I'm going out there and I'm fucking riffing and I'm trying to switch shit up and blah, 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 blah. And he yelled out the first punchline and I was so ready for it. I fucking snapped and we ended up throwing him out. And the crowd was pissed at me. Because they didn't know the backstory.
Yeah, they weren't there.
I remember this guy afterwards. I'm selling my CD, right? And this guy comes up and says, dude, that was fucking bullshit. That's bullshit. You're the headliner. You should have to deal with that. And I was going, no. And I tried to explain. And then he just wouldn't let me talk. And then I said, you know what you should do? you should never come to one of my shows again. That'll show me. Because it just got to the point of like, it was like probably like 6 people who were flipping out. But it was, and it was a classic thing. They kicked the guy out. And I'm standing there selling my wares, whoring myself out. Getting to the end of the line, I look up. Who's standing in line? The guy they kicked out. Like, this is how comedy clubs kick people out. They get them an inch beyond the threshold of the front door, and then they turn their back, and then they go over and fucking
ignore the problem.
Yeah, have some potato skins or something. And then here's that fucking guy back in. Like, so I had to tell them, like, I go, hey, in the future when you kick some of you, can you kick them all the way out? Can you make sure that they don't?
So what did he say?
He was just going like, you don't understand, I love you. You don't understand, I love you. Like he was trying to say, it was like, dude, you don't understand. The first night you were here.
I'm trying to prove how much I love you by, see, I know every punchline.
He was, no, but the first night, I can't remember which night we it must have been the second night, but the first night, well, no, he was just trying to say that he was yelling out because he loved my stuff, and he was just so fucking drunk. There was no, and dumb. It's not like when he sobered up, like this level of fucking intelligence was going to come back. He was just a fucking moron.
Yeah.
And it was kind of one of those things, like that kind of person I had to kind of burn off from my crowd. Like when you first get your people finally coming out to see you, you're psyched. And then there's people who are going to come out and see you and be like, oh, I thought he was this way. He's actually that way. And then they don't come back. And then hopefully the rest of the room gets filled up with people who kind of
they see a 30-second YouTube clip on a subject that they already have, and they go, oh, I love this guy. Oh, wait.
They see you be clean on TV, and they go, oh, there's a wholesome guy. And then you come down there, what the fucking cunt? And then they get up in the middle of it. Then, of course, you blame them. All right, let me do a little more advertising. Then we got to wrap this thing up here, dude.
Sure.
Dude, I'm so fucking psyched just to see you, man, because I never get to see you. You've been one of my favorites since you had the long hair and you had that headshot where you had the fucking Santa Claus hat on. Remember that one?
I remember getting you into Chilkoot Charlie's in Alaska. I thought it was
fucking green room too. I stayed at that
the band
condo.
house. Yeah, no, and it was horrific. But I always had an affinity for horror gigs like that and terrible accommodations when they're that bad that they're comical. And I thought you might think it was funny too. And you're like, I can't believe you sent me to that fucking place, that rat trap I had to stay in.
I didn't mind the gig. The gig was fine. That is the worst fucking place.
Absolute beyond anything.
The mattress,
cigarette burns on the television set.
The mattress literally was caved in the middle, and the fucking covers were so ratty. I just said, I just have to make this my own, and I laid down in it. I remember I ran into Ralphie May.
Ralphie May, they couldn't put him in the band house because the floorboards were too weak. They had to actually give him a hotel.
Is that what happened? Because he said to me, he goes, oh, I didn't fucking stay there. He goes, I took one look at it. I said, I'm not staying here.
No, they took one look at Ralphie May and went, we can't put him in there. He would literally go through the floors.
No!
Yeah, because it was... he's that big.
You know what's funny, though? His lie gave me self-esteem. I just started saying, I'm not staying here. You need to get me a fucking hotel room.
I brought...
And half the fucking rooms I stayed in, you were there the week before and had done something with a midget and a fucking God knows what. And then he wiped his
dick. The new John Fox.
Yeah, you were. Like, I loved you, but doing the road so much, I was starting to fucking hate you. I was like, this motherfucker, how does he know where I'm going to be and gets there the week before and fucking does something to the pillowcase with his fucking taint and ball bag? It was horrific. I always said the cure for AIDS was under the bed in the rug of a comedy condo. Just the amount of...
the band house in Alaska, I actually took a bar of soap onto stage that was in the shower there because it had black mold. And I'm like, if you think I'm making up jokes about the band house, this is the soap. When you're growing mold on an antibacterial product, that's how bad the fucking place was.
Yeah, dude. And I never went back.
Go ahead.
I never went back. Let me